Greetings, everyone. This is Payman Lorenzo, your host of the Leaders Lab podcast. Today, for episode number 248. Wow, the big 250 is fast approaching. I have one of my new wonderful friends, Mr. Paul uh, Marwood from Australia, from beautiful Perth. We got connected through one of our most amazing common friends, my wonderful friend, and not only she was a guest on my podcast. She was one of the first alumni of First Podcast Academy I ran back in December 2021, but also my publisher, Mary Gooden. And this gentleman just was part of a multi-authored book with her, which gonna launch in September. Super excited. And so a little bit about him. We connected last week. We had a wonderful, powerful chat. And right away, I realized that, hey, say no more. Here's my calendar, book a time. Well, I want you in my podcast. And here he is. So a little bit about him. I mean, I can talk, just introduction about him could be at 20 minutes, but I'll try to keep it short, under 1 minute. He's from Australia. He lived in the US. He's also lived in Zimbabwe. We can do an entire episode just on that because I'm fascinated by Africa and anything to do about adventures. Then in his past life, not long ago, he was an engineer, very successful at his own engineering company. And then something happened that changed the course of his life. He had a car accident, and that car accident just changed his life, awakened him, which resulted in out-of-body experiences. That started to dig deeper into that, or doing past life readings, finding more about not about a soul journey. Started to study Akashic record reading. He became an Akashic record reader. He did that for 12 years. And that accident completely changed his life because that awakening, caused a few things to end. His first wife was one example. She couldn't accept and handle that new version of them. So that relationship moved on, and he kept going. And then something that is fascinating, as soon as he told me, I said, wow, that could be the title of a movie or a book. He met a new woman to whom he proposed within 9 days. I mean, that's like a fairy tale. We can do an entire episode on that. And then, and has been doing very happily, very successful, very fulfillingly, working as an Akashic reader. Is a solution meditation. One of the things I love about my podcast is not only learning about things I thought I knew, but most importantly, learning about things I had no idea even exist. Like, for example, solution meditation. I had no idea that even existed. So not only it told me what it was about, but also it did an actual solution meditation for me last week, which was powerful. And so I love doing what I'm doing because I'm learning new things, talking with incredible people. He's one example. And as a result of his connection with Akashic and getting into the solution meditation, he's been able to manifest whatever he wanted so far as a result of precisely that, of solution meditation. And now he's creating an app so that people can access these meditation and tap into the unlimited wisdom of the Akasha. So in a nutshell, Paul is a spiritual life coach, a guide here to help others. We're on the same page because that's exactly what I am as well. So anyways, I did my best to summarize in a very nutshell what he is, but his intro can be at least another 10 minutes. And this is what we're going to dive in and explore in this episode. And I told them, me and you will do probably 2 or 3 episodes because there's so many things we can cover. But anyways, without any further ado, Paul, brother, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Payman. It's such a pleasure to be with you, talk with you, and be on your podcast. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Pleasure's all mine. Pleasure's all mine. First of all, tell us, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be here with you. I'm grateful to be able to talk and share with your audience. I'm grateful that today was a beautiful day with wonderful weather, and I'm in great health.
Beautiful to hear. The kinds of conversations I like to have with my guests on my podcast is, sure, we're going to talk about your business, achieving all that. But what I want to do, what the emphasis on my podcast is to to have a look, so to speak, under the hood, to see what's in your heart, to have a heart-to-heart conversation, hence the name Lead as well. Because what I'm mostly interested in, and my audience interested in, is getting to know who's Paul first and foremost as a person, as a human being, as a man, before the business person. So, Alice, for people who don't know you, over and beyond what I just skimmed through, who's Paul as a person, as a man, as a human being, as a soul?
I guess in a nutshell, I'm a I'm a Leo Cancer cusp. So there's a Leo
Mm,
part that likes to be sort of a little bit presented, but honestly, the majority of me is Cancer. So I'm a very loving, caring person. Um, I love connections, with friends, people, family, whatever. Um, I'm loving my ability to connect beyond the physical as well, so that's a big part of my life, being able to receive knowledge, teachings from my higher self, my guides, etc. Um, I'm a person that also really loves nature. One of my passions is either getting out of my mountain bike and just tearing around the place, which is good exercise, but also, taking I have a drone. It's a good excuse to get up into the mountains. Not that we have too many mountains where I'm at the moment, but where I used to live near Lake Tahoe, just get up in the Sierra Nevada ranges and just be there with nature, fly like a bird, be one with nature. I love this beautiful planet that we're on. And whenever I get to travel, to appreciate the different places. So, in that respect, another part of me is when I do get to travel, I love appreciating, the people, the cultures, the foods, the environment, whatever it is in that new place. So, for the most part, I'm just really grateful for all of the incredible variety that life offers. The universe is conspiring to help us 24/7. So whether in a good space or a challenging space, it's the universe is always helping us. And so, I guess that's kind of me in a nutshell.
beautiful. Love that. To start first, I'd like to ask you a series of rapid fire questions to further get to know you as a person. Ready?
Sure.
What makes you happy?
What makes me happy? I love helping people. So
Mm,
seeing that and helping people makes me
beautiful. What makes you smile?
happy. um, when I see someone come out of their shell, and
Oh,
they
yes.
embody something and they just start to really grow, it warms my heart. So it warms my heart and makes me smile.
Beautiful. Now let's take the happiness factor a couple of notches higher. What makes your heart sing? What makes your soul set on fire?
Hmm. Honestly, for me, again, coming back to kind of helping people, when I receive something back from my clients or I get to see how they've changed, that's like the best payback ever.
The
You can't put
transformation,
a
yes.
price on that.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful to see someone who's in maybe a challenging space and you help them turn it around, or someone who's great become even better.
Mhm.
It's the best.
Beautiful. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, what makes you sad and angry?
I think for me, I'm a little bit of an idealist. So, when
Mm,
I look at the world, and because I kind of have received knowledge all the time, when I look at us, the human aspect, because we live in duality. So happy, sad, good, bad. That's as we perceive it. So, when I see the fighting, when I see the corporations and the greed and how they don't care about humans, and so that whole piece that's in our world, one would say chaos at this point in time. I know it's all part of the grand plan and the awakening, and something has to be uncomfortable for us to make the change to bring us to a better place. And I understand all of that, but that makes me sad when I see people, wars, whatever it may be, when people are hurting other
yeah, I'm with you on that. What scares you other than snakes? I know you guys have a lot of snakes, eh?
We do have quite a few snakes here. Yeah, I worked out why they were all poisonous the other day. I saw a show and they explained why. So, but we'll talk about that another time.
Mm,
But um, it's not as much scares me these days, but what sometimes life scares me. Sometimes
Mhm.
there's challenges that happen, where I have to step out of where I'm comfortable, and that can be scary. And I I I try and get that emotion, energy in motion, and transmute it and turn it into something that's more powerful to help me move forward in a more powerful way. So yeah, I guess that's the answer to your question.
Beautiful. What would you say is your number one personal superpower?
Hmm. I think I think part of that is being able to connect with my intuition, my own guidance to help guide me, but in that piece to help and guide others. So
Beautiful.
really, it's like being in service to something so much greater.
Beautiful. Here's a fun couple of fun questions. What is one thing that you used to value but you don't value anymore?
Hmm. Okay. I'll probably bring that back to kind of the engineering world.
Mm,
I used to kind of think about how important, the status of things are and how good it is to look a certain way or how it is to, make something, but without considering all of the other implications in what I'm making. Do you know what I mean? Does that help people? Does it help the planet? All that kind of side of things. So, whereas now it's more important to be connected to myself, the love of who I am,
mhm.
and help me help others, help the planet.
Yeah.
Being in that greater place.
Now, let's flip that on the other side. What is one thing that you did not value before that you're now valuing?
Wow. I'd actually have to say, probably, if anything, which might be a surprising answer, is my emotions.
Mm,
For a lot of my earlier part of my life, I was an engineer, and while I thought I was kind of connected to my emotions, I really wasn't. And so now, I've had events that have happened in my life, which has really kind of almost cracked that open. There was a period of time in my life where I'd cry for almost a couple of hours a day. And that's just the releasing of all that was held back. So, 40, 50 odd years of my life. So I'd say probably emotions. I think I value
beautiful.
the most.
What lights you up in the morning when you wake up?
I wonder what's going to happen today.
Oh, beautiful. Love that. Yeah. Now, you enjoy traveling, do you?
I do. I do.
We'll talk about traveling a little bit later, but now I want to take you down a different type of traveling, down memory line. Go back to when you were growing up as a young boy. When we're kids, people around us, parents, teachers, relatives always ask us, "So, Paul, what do you want to become when you grow up?" What was your answer as a young boy to that question?
It's interesting. I've always seen images or had some knowingness about the future. So
Really? Wow.
when I was at high school, I already knew I was going to be an engineer. So the answer to your question is an audio engineer, an engineer. So I even chose the subjects at school to become an engineer because I knew I was already going to become an engineer.
What
Does
about
that
when you
answer your
were
question?
younger? Say, when you're younger, we want to, for example, I told you I wanted to become an astronaut when I was a young boy,
Astronaut.
4 or 5 years old. Did you have anything in mind when you were at that age?
Um, um, No, actually, I was just kind of a bit of a wild one. I love tearing around the bush. Being in Zimbabwe, we had lots of bush, and so I just like tearing around the bush and playing
Indiana Jones
sport.
style? Beautiful.
um, yeah. So honestly, for me, probably at that age, I was just wild and having fun. I had white friends, black friends.
Mhm.
Just that was me.
What was your relationship with school growing up? Did you love school or did you hate school?
You know, I I don't think I really liked school that much. You know, it was something I did,
Mm.
but it wasn't something that I was excited to. I mean, I was a relatively sociable person, so I enjoyed the friendship side of things with school, but that was about it.
What was your favorite subject?
You know, I wouldn't call it a subject. I think for me, probably I love the sport part. So if you could
Mm.
call sport a subject, yeah, I love the playing sports, doing sports.
What sport in particular?
Well, as a kid trying to impress his father, my dad taught gymnastics, so I really got into gymnastics. And so I became quite successful in gymnastics, but played soccer. You and I talked about that. I loved soccer. That was a big part of my world as well in the early days. Um, and but honestly, sport was kind of compulsory
Mm.
where I grew up. So you know, I did all sorts. I played cricket, I played tennis, I did athletics. You know,
How about
all
rugby?
those. I played rugby as well, but I was out on the wing because I was one of these little light, skinny dudes, so I couldn't do
You were
the
fast.
serious. I
Yeah,
could just run fast.
beautiful. What was your least favorite subject in school?
Hmm, probably physics. No, actually, I think the least favorite subject would have been Sindebele, which was like the African language that I needed to learn. I was never very good at languages, so
Wow.
yeah,
They taught you African languages in school?
yeah.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Imagine that we were in the same class in grade 10, grade 11. What kind of guy were you? Were you the shy one, the quiet one, the nerd one, the clown, the life of the party, the leader? What kind of guy were you back then and say in grade 10, 11?
I would have been probably one of the high end sports guys,
Mm, very
successful in
popular.
the sports, pretty popular. Not really popular with the girls, but just
Really?
but
Because usually girls,
yeah,
gravitate towards the popular guys, especially in sports.
yeah, yeah. I don't know what I mustn't have had any, you know, the right pheromones or the right attraction or something like that. It was a pretty ugly kid or something. I don't know, but I did all right in sports. Was never that popular with the girls.
No worries. All right. What was your very first job? And do you remember how much you get paid for that very first job?
You know, it was interesting in that piece. I was always pretty industrious at that age. In fact, at one stage I had 7 jobs, even though I didn't do all
Whoa.
7 at the time. Um, my very first job, um, hmm, probably would have been working at a gas station. I used to
Mm.
work there. I worked at several actually. So yeah.
Do you remember how much you were getting paid for that first job?
Honestly, the honest answer to your question is no, I don't remember how much I got paid. I know I had to work several jobs because at that stage I wanted to build up money because I wanted to be able to, you know, I had a motorbike and I wanted to buy a car and I wanted to buy a
Ah,
stereo system and I had all these other things I wanted to buy. And so I needed to work hard to do that, you know. So
what was your first car?
a 19, it was a 25-year-old Morris Mini, a little Morris
Oh
850.
yeah.
So and thank goodness they'd thrown the 850 out and put the Cooper S 1275 in it. But that poor little car got thrashed so much.
Beautiful. Wow. Now, let's move forward. Let's talk about your path from the moment you left school to now. How would you describe it? Would you say once you're into one lane, it was pretty much smooth sailing forward, you were set for life, or was it like turns and twists like a roller coaster?
Turns and twists like a roller coaster, honestly.
It's more fun that way, eh?
Yeah, I would say I'm probably into my third lifetime now within this one physical lifetime. So
Mm.
if that answers the question.
So tell us briefly about your path, your journey so far.
Well, I think, you know, the first part was really kind of fitting into the general plan of what most parents would expect of their kids, you know, be successful at school and go and get a degree and all the rest of that. And, you know, I did that and got my engineering, you know, job and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, but at that point, you know, as an engineer, it was my whole world was about computers, code, logic, that side of things. So, you know, the spirituality side didn't really exist. I thought psychic people kind of smoke too much pot and should go and build something, for goodness sake, make stuff useful, do something real, do something physical. And then of course the next one would say the next stage of my life, where you touched on earlier, was I was on the side of the road in a car, and another car hit me. It's 60 miles an hour, 100 k's an hour, or thereabouts, and should have killed me, but really just it wasn't my exit point. And so created one would say a Kundalini awakening, and my whole life just suddenly changed and when something changes in that sort of speed, it's pretty scary, honestly. Luckily I had a friend of a friend came into my life, and she was a guide that guided people through, one would say, spiritual emergencies. And to go from just being aware of the physical world to being very aware of the non-physical world, out of body experiences, past life experiences, living all of that like it was real, like I'm having these massive, vivid dreams, and then having all that awareness and having the out of body experiences, having astral traveling. And that's kind of a realm that I had no mechanism to deal with. I had no way of comprehending that in my engineering mind. I couldn't logic my way through it. So it was very scary. So you talk about what are you afraid of? Well, that was a very scary time in my life. But this lady came in and she guided me through the process, and she showed me how to, this is what's going to happen next. So I could kind of, okay, prepare myself for it, and those sorts of things would happen. And so I could work my way through it. So that's probably the second part. And then honestly, now I'd say the third part is really just this whole new opening of the emotions within me, a new deeper connection to within myself, and this massive growth of personal growth of awareness, and in that, huge ranges of experiences. So the universe really showing me about the spectrum, right from being literally almost like living in a tent, homeless, to living in a beautiful, multi-million home, just having these ranges, but there I am, I'm still there, so having that awareness that we are still there, we can create anything, we can experience anything. And the joy or the lack of joy was all dependent on what's inside, and having those emotions to guide us or guide me, and in that, being able to connect more deeply. When you share something with me and you're happy or you're sad or you're crying, I can feel that, and I can be with you. I can join in with you. And if I've had a similar experience, I can join in with you even more because I can relate to it at a deeper level. So this next stage has been another opening up and a personal inner exploration. So yeah, so quite a few twists and turns.
Beautiful. We're going to dive into that in a moment, but let's go back a little bit. Just prior to that accident that completely turned your life around, how were you? How was, and what state were you there? Were you fulfilled in your career and your life, or were you looking for answers? You knew that there was more to life than just this physical side. That your career, even though you're successful, what was your state of mind just prior to that accident?
I was completely satisfied with life
Wow.
because the company was growing. It was doing well. I had, everything I needed or wanted. My life had a plan. I bought my first house and paid that off fairly quickly. I bought a much larger home on a property, and it was paying that off very quickly. And, I was wanting to start a property portfolio and start to invest, and I was doing motorsport, and life was great. So that whole accident thing really was a very sudden shift that I had, no real, awareness of at that point. I thought life was pretty good.
So when you had that accident, do you remember what, I've seen videos of when people have this accident, they have this out of body experience, near death experiences, and things like that. Did you have any such thing as well in that moment when you saw yourself elevating from your body, seeing your body from above, and then having your life in a movie playing in front of you, and then going to the other side, meeting whatever, Jesus or angels and going traveling around the universe, and then talking to a spiritual guide, and we're telling you, giving you less. I mean, opening your eyes and telling you it's not your time. You have to go back. Is that something similar to what we see all day long on all those videos on YouTube?
You know, honestly, no, quite the opposite. I've had many people now talk to me about myself being a walk-in. And honestly, I think that's most likely probably what happened. So I have literally 2 weeks of no information. I've tried several times through Akashic Records and various other methods to reclaim that information. So there was, basically from just before the accident, I have memory, and then I have nothing of the accident, nothing for 2 weeks, literally, and then life starts to creep in. So there's this void in that piece, and I don't believe that there was a near-death experience. I honestly believe that some things, some powers that be, even though I was in a racing harness, which means I couldn't necessarily get out of the car, I couldn't shoot out a window or something like that to save me, and my seat was only this wide, so I should have died. But I was walking around outside mostly unharmed. So I think some greater power removed me, and at that point there was probably already an agreement for a walk-in to take place, and then the soul left, a transition, me at that time left out, and then the new part came in to help as part of the next stage that was already part of some soul agreement. So I'm sorry to say I don't have some fantastic story to
No
say
worries.
on that.
That's the story by itself. So you didn't have any physical injuries in that accident?
Minimal, a
Wow.
fractured pelvis, some internal bleeding, a little bit of
Sure.
concussion. But, literally considering the shape of the car and the size of my seat and the fact that I was wearing a racing harness, it should have been a lot worse than what it was, honestly. The
Yeah.
paramedics were kind of walking around scratching their heads, so I heard afterwards.
Wow. When you were growing up, did you have any psychic abilities or anyone in your family?
No,
No. So it
no.
was
I
completely
mean,
out of the blue, not expected. And
yeah.
so how did you sense that things were different, that things were happening that you did not know, maybe even didn't understand?
I think, sort of when life started to return to normal afterwards,
Mm,
um, suddenly there was this um, inner knowingness that came in. I could sense things, I could feel things that weren't physical.
mm,
I had a knowingness. I could tell if people were speaking the truth or not speaking the truth. I suddenly knew things that I didn't know before. I wasn't reading a book and I knew something. And so that piece started coming in, and then as I say, then suddenly there was these vivid dreams that were happening, and that was fine at night, but I could have the vivid dreams in the middle of the day, and I might be in the middle of doing something, and then suddenly I would just check out and have this past life experience, which I can still explain to you. Most of those past lives as clear as now as it happened then. I can explain a lot of details about all of those lives. So, um, and that was the piece that really started to discern, concern me, because in my world, I'm here, I'm at work, for example, I'm doing my work. It's not here to trip out and go somewhere else, especially, and it's not even a physical reality that I would say is my reality. It's not, it was in that lifetime, but it's not here, so and I didn't even understand about past lives and things like that at that point. So that was the real confusing
so,
part, but that's kind of how it unfolded.
so how did you get into the past life? Was it something that you had when you close your eyes at night, or when you're sitting doing your work, you had visions coming into your mind, or did you actually actively went and sought a hypnotherapist to help you do that?
It just started just happening automatically to me. I
Wow.
didn't really even ask for it, and but what happened was when there were some people in my life that I'd had past lives with, and whenever I was in their auric space,
Wow.
being that the energetic and the vibrational aspect of their aura and my aura when I was in that space, suddenly I would sense stuff, I would know stuff, I would feel stuff, and then sometimes I would just trip out and I would start to experience other lives that I'd had with them. So that primarily happened when I was around people that I'd had past lives with.
Did you tell them?
Yeah, yeah, and for the most part, thank goodness,
They didn't
they
think you
were
were crazy. You were
understanding.
losing your marbles, yeah?
I was the one that was kind of saying that more than anyone else. Like, help me out here. This is really crazy stuff. Most of them were pretty understanding, and I
Uh,
think to a degree, in the case of the ladies, the friends of mine that were female, they checked in and they could sense and feel that what I was saying to them was right. There was a part of them that just they didn't understand or to know it themselves, maybe, but they went, yeah, that feels right.
so for you, looking at you being a highly rational left brain person, engineer, how did you react to that? Did you think that, hey, what is this thing? What is happening to me? How easy was it for you to actually accept that, hey, what's going on with it? I'm not hallucinating. This is a new phase I started. And how long
Yeah.
was there an internal struggle inside of you between the left and the right brain, the rational and the spiritual?
Interesting question you say that. If I didn't have that friend of a friend, I
Mm,
probably would have checked myself into a lunatic asylum. She really saved my life, because she helped explain stuff to me that
wow.
I could understand at a, you can't really rationalize the physical and non-physical when you're just used to the physical,
Mm.
but she helped me understand that and helped me through that process. And some of that is just letting go. The Kundalini is it's rising and moving, through the three channels and clearing stuff and opening up. It's powerful. It can be very subtle, but it can also be powerful. And there's a lot of power in the subtlety as well. But I think for the most part, when she helped me just relax into it, she just helped me let it, what was happening, happen naturally. And when I wasn't trying to control, it was a lot easier.
So growing up and prior to that accident, were you religious? Were you spiritual or no?
No, I think the only time I went to church was when there was this really cute young lady that I really liked, and she was in a church group, and so I was in the church, so I could try and connect with her, which never
There's
happened. Again, when I was a young kid, I seemed to struggle with getting girls to like me. So that never really panned out. But that's about the only time I ended up in church, and it was for the one could say the wrong reasons.
So when after the accident and you had this complete shift in your mind, did your colleagues at your work, at your company, notice anything, and how did they react to the new version of Paul?
They didn't really relate to the new version of Paul. I mean, I managed for the most part to keep it mostly separate. But when I started to share that part again, just as I would do myself, they were like, hey, dude, you're not making sense, So,
Wow,
and honestly, I don't blame them. I still love and
sure.
respect the people that I had working for me were like the best people on the planet. They were the nicest guys. We were a really great team, and I still highly respect them.
You still in touch with
Um,
them?
a couple I'm still in touch with,
Yeah.
yeah.
You mentioned that during this awakening, your first wife couldn't handle that. Tell us about, did you share that first with her, and what was the reaction and what happened?
I think when you form a relationship with someone and then you spend 16 odd years with them,
Wow.
you know who that person is, but then when
Mm.
that person suddenly changes, some people will be, okay, I'm just going to adapt with this and I'm going to adapt with you and we'll do whatever we can, or not.
Mm.
and so in this case was really an or not, like she was pretty comfortable with where we were and who I was, and not really comfortable with the new version of me and my new requests, my new demands, and so yeah, so then we just went our separate ways.
I guess how difficult was for you to realize and accept that the person you just spent a chunk of your life with can cope with that? Did that make you question yourself? Hey, am I losing my mind? What's happening to me? Is this for my best interest? Because the woman that I love, that I've been spent so much of my time with, she doesn't love this version. Should I go back to my old version? Did you have those mental struggles
Yep.
inside of your head?
Most definitely. Most definitely. There was there, I think when we go through a change,
Mm.
especially when you have, as you said, that logical side, your logical side tries to make sense of something, and you're trying to put something in a box that you can't put in a box. You're dealing with an unlimited non-physical, a greater expansion of consciousness and a fairly rapid expansion of consciousness. And how do you explain that, or how do you rationalize that and put it in a box? So there were many times that I thought, what am I doing? Why don't I just go back and do what I was doing before? But I couldn't, because that wasn't me anymore. And so again, this is where, I'm just operating from a very different consciousness. And so there's that piece where you can't go back. You don't want to go back. But you don't know too clearly what the forward is. But life is just unfolding at a fairly unusual rate, in unusual ways. And again, because I had assistance, I just relaxed into that process. And so I knew that there was a bigger plan coming in, because I had knowingness, and I was starting to trust that knowingness, that inner guidance that was like, it's okay, just let this happen. We're teaching you about the values of what you've learned in earlier lifetimes, so that you can apply that to this lifetime now.
Did you at any time feel that, hey, I might be risking it all and risking destroying everything that I worked so far all my life?
Yeah. I had a successful engineering company that was growing, that was probably at literally almost getting to the most financial best it ever was. And suddenly, you go through a divorce, and there's just a complete change and a shift away from not even being interested in engineering. I'm like, why would I be getting rid of this? This has been my livelihood for so long. I've loved doing what I'm doing. It's been my passion. And now suddenly it isn't. And what's next? And what do I have that's going to pay the bills? All that side of things. So yeah, very disconcerting.
And how soon after that did you call it your guides, that friend of yours, show up in your life and show you the path and help you navigate that new, transition?
Yeah. I guess again, I would say the universe is conspiring to help us 24/7. It's always
Mm.
here helping us, whether we acknowledge that or whether we truly understand that or not. So the timing is almost always perfect. When I needed that person, she appeared. There was confusion beforehand, fair enough, but when I needed her, she was there. And there was many years that I would go and see her once or twice a week, and she would explain to me what was happening. She'd coach me through the process, and she would help me go through that. And then one would say I graduated. I didn't need that help anymore, and then I moved on fine.
How long did it
Had
take you to graduate, so to speak?
I don't think I've even graduated yet. Life's still continuing on at
For sure, yeah.
a level of expansion, and the next, and then the next, and then the next. But I think that's when we start to open up to how unlimited everything is, and we start to get out of our own way. We start to just allow the greater aspect of our high selves, our consciousness, our greater consciousness, our soul, and the team that we have, one would say, allocated to us. You just allow that to come in and help and guide and teach and transition to help me be in the right place at the right time in the right way to help my clients or help other people in whatever way that is. And I just trust that. So the lessons I'm learning, sometimes I'll have clients the next week that are going through the same problem that I've just had. And I just know that I went through that to help them.
Beautiful. So what kind of time frame went between the moment you had this accident and this awakening to you fully moving on, selling your company, very successful company, and then finalizing the divorce and all that? That's question number one. Question number two, at one point did you basically surrendered, let go, and just embraced you going on to a new chapter, even if that meant completely walking away from all the comfort that you've built so far in your life?
Yeah. I think the answer to the first question was, it's hard to put a time frame on it because it doesn't happen in a
Yeah,
black and
yeah,
white line, but probably about 2 years or a bit over about 2.5 years.
yeah.
And then the relaxing into the whole thing, you know, again, there was never really a time where I was completely, there's times where you just
Sure.
trust and it goes well, and there's other times that you question it, and we kind of to and fro between that space. It's one would say like, here's my version of myself that I want to be, and here's where I'm at now, and I would always be working to get there, and but then sometimes I would fall back to the old, worried, not really sure what am I doing, questioning the whole thing part, and then I would sort of pull myself as best I could back to this higher version of me. So again, probably again, 2.5 years into that part, I was starting to relax into and trusting that it was all the right thing, and just moving in ways that, as an example, I'm driving to my engineering job in the city because we're doing contract work in the city at the time, and I was intuitively guided to a series by a lady called Jennifer McLean. She was doing a healing with the masters at that time, and I was listening to all these different speakers because my higher self said you need to do this. So I went, okay. So I'm listening to this, and then suddenly I heard a speaker who is the leader of a healing modality. And as soon as I heard it, I instantly know I have to know more about this. I have to learn about this. And so, the next couple of days, I literally went on the internet and found like 19 other practitioners, typical engineer, wanting to analyze everything, found 19 other practitioners, spoke to them, decided this was really a good idea. And then several months later, I ended up winning a competition that took me to America,
Wow.
which was the universe using that mechanism to get me to be in contact with my second wife, because she happened to be one of the sort of instructors at this event, and so I as soon as I saw her, I instantly fell in love with her, and then everything kind of unfolded from there. So again, this is where you start to just trust that the universe is guiding you in certain ways, to take me to the right place at the right time for the next thing to happen.
And then from the moment that you met her to it took literally hoping 9 days before you proposed her.
Yeah, it's an interesting scenario because I'm not someone that would do anything like that.
Yeah, that's pretty bold.
Generally, it is pretty sudden, and she just got out of a relationship, so she wasn't interested in getting back into another relationship, but she said yes. So, but then, when you connect at a level, when you're both spiritual people and you can sense and feel the connection that you have at a physical level, at a spiritual level, at a soulic level, at a past life level, you feel this profound connection. Again, I believe, again, not everyone might agree with this, but I believe souls have decisions, and we make a plan before we come into this lifetime. Do we fulfill all of that plan? Not always, because we're in a free will zone. But for the most part, souls, for example, her and I had a contract to come together and
Sure.
do the work that we do because we came together. So that's why when the universe said, how do I get this person in Australia to America? that was the mechanism that it needed to get me there. And then as soon as I met her, then it then had to use its magic to get us to come together so that we
Wow,
could do the work souls had agreed to do.
beautiful. How did your new life? So what did you do once you sold your company and all that? You moved on away from your first marriage, and then you went to the US. You met this new lady. What were you doing during the day to day? How to what were you doing after that?
Well, again, that's kind of almost like the the second, a big step forward in the second stage, because really suddenly was all this channeling started opening up,
Wow.
and you know, my second wife, she primarily did most of the channeling, but suddenly there was all this teaching came in from beautiful realms, multidimensional beings helping with ascension to dolphins to angelics to the
Wow.
archangels to elementals, so suddenly there was this teachings of all the different levels, so everything from the earth and mother nature and that part to the fifth dimension and beyond, and then the ascension piece, and then they would teach us these new which is some of the things, things I offer now called soul activations, where they're like if some people might be aware of a Merkaba or Makaba, the star tetrahedron around us. These are not a Makaba, but they're a multidimensional activation, which is designed to accelerate our ascension. So help us become more connected to higher consciousness, becoming more connected and fully imbued with golden Christed light, to becoming another activation is accelerates our ability to connect with our higher selves, connect with that part of us that's here to guide
Mhm.
us, our soul, our higher self, accelerate that whole process. So suddenly they're teaching us all of these new things, one would say next generation modalities, to help humanity, whoever's called, whoever's interested in receiving that. The being said to us, people are going to come to you and they're not going to know why they come to you. They just know they have to have this, like say the 111
Mhm.
activation, and so because their soul is saying now you're ready to be able to accelerate your connection to your higher self, to move into a stronger alignment with your soul purpose and really accelerate that part, and I look at some of the people 2 or 3 years later, because these sorts of things, you only need them once. You don't need to keep coming back like a traditional energy session. You just get it once and it works with you for life. And it just excites me so much when I see people 2 or 3 years down the track, how their life has changed and how they've really kicked into the next version of them, and they're blossoming, they're becoming successful, but successful in what they're meant to do. It's just so beautiful to see that. And while you can never prove it, but I can see the influence of these things on those people and how it's helping them in their lives become
Beautiful.
better than
So how did you get into solution meditation?
the beings were talking to us about, being able to connect to this greater, the unified field, the field of infinite possibilities, and these beautiful teachings, and helping us start to be able to connect with that, connect to this beautiful unified field, start to actually have profound experiences that are beyond the physical of the greater unlimitedlessness, the greater connectedness of everything. And and then they would show us about how when you play in this realm and you consciously connect to that, and then you start to, then you can, if you wish, overlay what your dream, your desire, or what you need some help with. But you're doing that at a soul type level rather than a mind level. Because when you go to this multidimensional place, you can't go there in the place of the mind. You have to go there from the place of the heart and the essence of who you are. It's a soul thing. It's an essence. It's a consciousness thing. It's not a mind thing. And then you go there, and they're showing how you can go there and live and be that whatever it is that you want, and how that accelerates through the connectedness of the unified field. You literally start to change physics, and you can bring in new solutions, new aspects into your life that can help you, that's aligned with the new vibration, that's more aligned from a soul point of view. if we give an example of someone with healing, I want this to be healed. Well, you do what I just suggested, and maybe it doesn't heal you, and you think, oh, it's not working. Well, but maybe the soul level, you're not meant to be healed at this point in time, because there's still some lessons to learn in that piece.
Mm-hmm.
More compassion, more self-patience, more self-awareness, whatever it may be. But the beautiful thing is to be able to teach this to other people and let them have these experiences, whether I'm doing it for them or whether they're learning to do it themselves, and then have all these beautiful, cool things. Like, people will be looking for houses for months and they can't find the house that they want. And they do the solution meditations for them. Suddenly they found the house they want in a couple of days. And then they get really good mortgage
Wow.
rates, and just all sorts of really cool things fall into place. I got my car when I came to Australia after doing a solution meditation. I'd searched for hours, didn't have any success, did a solution meditation. And then I found exactly the car that I wanted that was available for me a week after I got here, brand new, so this things just fall into place. And then we start to realize that, wow, you can really tap into this and make your life easier. And it doesn't have to be hard. And you can use it for anything: physical, spiritual, emotional, financial, relationship, whatever it may be.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's exciting. So is this what you're doing now? Is this what your business is about?
Primarily, I really want to develop an app to make it much more available to everyone, so we can listen to guided meditations, so that, they're encouraging me to just make this simple and allow it in a grounded way for people to connect to the guided meditations, to assist them to very easily open up your awareness and connect to the
Mhm.
unified field. And from that connection to the unified field, the field of infinite possibilities, start to play with that unlimited possibilities. And as a divine being, as you start to let go into that space, which is not hard, and that's where the guided meditations is handy, because it helps them. And there's meditations, but there's also an energy, a vibration included in that. It's not just words, there's a vibration and energy included in that, which is sort of through myself, or, when we teach people to do this, that same sort of way. But there's a piece there that comes in, and as you open up to it, so you can then start to play and bring in those solutions into your lives. So that's primarily what I do. If you like, we can do a short one here now, so the audience can start to just sense it and feel it themselves. I mean, the cool thing is I love doing something like this, so you can just test it out yourself. My realm is just question it. Is this real or isn't this real? And start to see if it works for you.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm down. Let's do it if you want to do it.
Okay, let's do it. So, okay. Well, what I would encourage everyone to do. So, those of you that are here joining us now, or it doesn't matter, whether it happens live or you're watching replays on the video at any time, it makes no difference. When we're dealing with multidimensionality here, the energy is there no matter what. So it's not like it gets weaker, as time goes by. It's when you watch it and you connect to that vibration, you're in that vibration. Whether it's, someone's watching it live or whether they're watching a replay, it doesn't matter. It's the same. What I would also suggest to everyone is check in how you feel now. How do you feel, Payman, in yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally? And then, in about 7 or 8 minutes time, when we're done, check into yourself again and just notice the shift in you. And because you're tapping into your greater multidimensionality, I won't say anything more, but I'll say more at the end as far as, how you feel when we're finished. Okay. And what I'll probably do this time now is I'll guide us just through something. People can come to me and I can help them with specific things, specific situations, specific problems, and we can do a guided solution meditation for them specific for that. But today, let's just do a general one, really for, like a deeper level of self-love, self-awareness, self-connection, the greatness of who we are. And as we do that, what I'm encouraging everyone that listens to this, so the tricks, there's a couple of tricks here. Where we're going, you can't think this. You have to be in the place of your soul, the place of your heart, the place of your consciousness. And you need to just exist as consciousness in this unified field space, the field of infinite possibilities. You can't exist in there with a personality and worried about this or thinking about that. You have to just be consciousness in this space. And some of the words that I'm going to be saying as I guide you through this place now, what I want you to do is feel that. See, as we feel it, we're energy in motion, we're consciousness in motion. So as you feel this, you're not putting any judgment on it. You want to just feel it and kind of live it. And whatever comes through you or floats through you, just let it float through you, whether it's an image or a feeling or an emotion. But just allow yourself to just be in that space and feel it like you are already that now. So it's not a future thing. It's like, oh, when I do this, I'm going to get there. If you hold it in the future, the universe will take you literally and keep it in the future. Okay. So live it like it's already happened to you right here, right now. Feel that right now. All right. Okay.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's do a short one. Yes. Let's go.
Okay. So let's just close your eyes, get your body comfortable, get your eyes closed. So you kind of reduce that information. If you get your body comfortable, get your body out of the picture. So you could, it's more easy for you to tap into the essence of you, the essence of your consciousness, this beingness of you, the great being of light that you really are. And just take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe in, take this nice deep breath in. As you feel the air come into your lungs and your lungs expand, at the same time you feel the air coming in, bring some beautiful bright light into yourself, because you primarily are this great being of light having a human experience. And as you bring this beautiful bright light in, it could be white, it could be pink, it could be yellow, it could be green, it could be rainbow. Just allow this knowingness of you to bring this beautiful bright light in. Let it nourish your physical light and energy bodies. And at the same time, expand that light out. And as you breathe out, just let any of the worries, concerns, that stuff of your mind, that I've got to do this, or I'm not good enough for that, or all that kind of stuff, let it go out with the out breath. Get further away, get smaller and smaller. Take another nice deep breath in. Bring some more beautiful, bright light into yourself. Bring this light in. Let yourself start to feel yourself as this great being of light. Let the light expand. As you expand, you are this great being of light. And as you breathe out, let any of those worries, concerns, just simply go further away and get smaller and smaller. And as you continue to just breathe in gently, slowly, just allow yourself to bring in more light, expand the light of you out. And as you're doing so, just allow your awareness to shift down to that place of your heart. Feel your heart, feel the essence of you. And just take those few moments to just feel your heart. And imagine from this space, literally from your heart, almost like your heart is your eyes, your ears, your nose, your brain, your mouth, everything. From the place of your heart, imagine looking up at the night sky. Imagine, as we mentioned earlier about the stars, the millions of stars, just look up at those millions of stars, and just from that place of your heart, from the place of feeling, literally allow yourself to reach out, like the tentacles of feeling, reach out, touch, connect with those millions and billions of stars, planets, nebula, everything out there. And as you're just slowly and gently breathing, feeling, allow yourself to start to feel all of those infinite possibilities of creation. There's millions of different stars, planets, shapes, all the things that might be on them. And stay out of the mind. Just feel this part and allow that to just be. Allow yourself to just be in this place of feeling. And notice that as you reach out into this place of feeling, it actually feels completely normal. It's normal because you are a universal being. You are this great being of light. You are a part of the universe. You are part of creation. So just allow yourself to connect more deeply with the universe, the unified field, the field that connects all of this together. And you don't need to understand it. Just rest into your connection with the universe, the unified field. And each and every one of you might have a slightly different experience in your feeling, your awareness, your connection with the unified field. And if you come back and listen to this again and again, you may start to see and sense and feel that connection deeper. And as you just allow yourself to just be, as you expand yourself out into this unified field, one could say this field of infinite possibilities. You can just imagine yourself floating in space. It could be completely dark. It could be feeling the connectedness. You could feel the divine love. It may start to present itself to you in subtly different ways. But now I'm just going to guide you through some experiences with some words. And as I guide you through them, be in this place of just resting in the unified field and feeling the emotions of you being this as I talk you through it. I am whole. I am complete. I'm good through and through. It's safe for me to be me. I deeply and profoundly love myself. I deserve to feel safe and secure. I deserve to feel light and free. I deserve to be peaceful. I know that I'm lovable in my entirety, right down to the very depths of my core. I am enough. I am one with the very power that created me. I am perfection. I am love incarnated. I feel the unconditional love I have for myself and reverberate that through every cell of my body and being. I value myself. I love and accept all of me. I deserve to flourish. I am worthy of a great life. I am worthy of love. I am a good person. I am gifted. I am a magnificent being. Just feel these feelings as you live this. This is who you really are in the greatness of you. I recognize and celebrate my unique gifts and abilities. I honor myself. I believe in myself. Everything I need is already within me. I am complete. Just feel this within you. Feel as you are simply being in the unified field, the field of infinite possibilities, allowing yourself to embody the vibration of who you really are, this great being. And as you embody this vibration, so you attract like vibration into you. The greatness of you brings in the greatness into your life. Know and understand that this vibration, this energy will continue to work with you long after the session here now. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, allow the aspect of your consciousness that's chosen to be physically embodied to come down to the room, come down and move 100% into your physical body. Feel yourself literally connecting in with your beautiful physical body. Give it love. Connect with Mother Earth. Give her love. Feel yourself ground and connect to Mother Earth. But at the same time, allow yourself to still sense and feel your connectedness with the universe, with the unified field, the field of infinite possibilities and solution energy as it comes forward to help you embody this greater wholeness of you. Feel your connection with the physical, but feel the subtle vibrational connection with the unified field. Feel its support. And from this beautiful place, feel the greater connectedness of the love and the greatness of you. Be in that high vibration. Take another nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just slowly and gently open your eyes. And welcome back. And just check in with how do you feel now compared to how you felt about 7 minutes
Much more relaxed.
ago. And why wouldn't you be? You know, as you connect to your greater multidimensional self, who is
Sure.
aware of the greater connectedness of everything, you would.
Absolutely. Beautiful. That's a wonderful way to actually end this episode and schedule a part 2 for there's so many more things that we can cover. I want to dive even deeper into what you're doing and all that. We haven't even touched about the part you mentioned about Zimbabwe. That's something I'm very interested to know more, and so much more. So, listen, brother, absolute pleasure, honor, always a blast talking to you. Thank you for this beautiful solution meditation, really helpful. And yeah, we'll definitely have you on the calls next week for part 2, which is going to be an ongoing conversation between me and you because of so much that we can talk. And I salute you. You're a true leader with a heart. Keep shining your light. Keep blessing the world with your presence, with your impact, with your work, with your energy, vision, mission, with your smile, with everything you do. Stay safe, stay awesome. God bless you, brother. Talk to you very soon. Take care.
God bless you too, brother.
God bless you.